Good morning, preppers. Perrin Lovett here for Prepper Post News on Monday, November 23rd, 2020. Back here, I found the red companion to the green snowman tie that you might remember. Got some great stuff for you today. Before we get into the discussion, I just want to kind of let you know how things work. I spend hours and hours, just days and days, scouring the internet for stories for you. And on any given day, I'll normally come up with, 50 or 60, and only, 10, 12 or so make the cut. But today I was really wrestling with the feature topic. And of course, I picked one based on some comments that we had the end of last week. Oh, and by the way, thank you for Thursday and Friday, all of the attention in the comments. Friday especially, I thought I was a little off, but you apparently thought otherwise. So anyway, I probably tomorrow, Tuesday, will run with I got a nose itch. Run with one of the other featured articles that I had come across. But I got one for today, and I think it's a good one. This is also the Thanksgiving week. So as part of today's topic, you're being warned not to partake in Thanksgiving this year, and probably Christmas and New Year's. Now, if the AP is wrong about the election and things go the other way in reality, according to the law, well, you can participate in a peaceful protest. The rules don't apply there. Those are not super spreader events. But anyway, do leave your comments. Lately, it's just been fantastic. We're really getting a discussion going, which is exactly what we want. You don't have to agree with me. And do know that, in 20 minutes or in one article, I can't express everything that I'm thinking, and I can't repeat everything that I constantly say. But take my stuff impera materia, all in one. But so far what I see is fantastic. It's great. And so is the reset, right? The Great Reset, which is really neither. I don't see anything so great about this, and it's certainly not the reset that we need. I was suspicious immediately of pretty much everything that has occurred in 2020, especially the big story, this pandemic. The first thing I thought was, oh wow, they're trying to cover something up. What is it? And then I thought it was the economy, and I think that has got to be a major part of it. But there's so much more, and there, and this stuff is not hidden in the shadows. These Luciferians that come up with all these ideas, they don't really care to keep things hidden away. They will deny what they've just said on the record, but they don't keep the record all that hidden. So it's what typically is called a conspiracy theory is just the noticing of the facts as they're presented by these people. So I want to know what you think. I saw a comment. That's what got me thinking about this, about the Great Reset. And I had seen it a dozen times. I know you have too. But I just, I kind of skipped over it. Mainly because this reset to what? What are we resetting to? This looks like the same globalist New World Order rebuilding of the Tower of Babel that we've been treated to for, certainly all of my lifetime. But I've got some stories about the reset. That's the first segment. Start your comments down below, and we'll see how this runs. It's not just about the virus. It's not about a vaccine. Oh, Thursday's vaccine comments were just, it's almost like we hit a nerve there. I know what you're thinking. That was fantastic. But also know what Klaus Schwab is thinking. And good old Klaus is the director of the World Economic Forum. And this is one of those not so shadowy international organizations. There are several. They all kind of get lumped together in something called the Illuminati. Why Illuminati? Because they're the light bringers. just like Lucifer, coming to enlighten all of us rubes out here in flyover country. But he's got a plan, and this is it's a link through Zero Hedge to a story that Paul Joseph Watson did. Might be one of his best pieces ever. Here's a little quote. Great Reset mastermind Schwab suggests a number of draconian measures for controlling the population under the umbrella of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. What in the world? Including risk assessment brain scans to cross borders and implantable chips to read people's thoughts. And there's a lot more. I mean, there is a lot more. And, you know, there's stuff, you know, there's vaccine in this. But the main thing is control. Mencken. I love Mencken. He had a quote for everything. A stated desire to save society is almost always a false face for a desire to control society. And here, they're not even trying to hide it. It's the showpiece. You want to scan your brain. Are they going to have mobile CT machines before you can, you know, walk across the border into Canada or get on a plane to Europe? Probably. I mean, they've already got the backscatter X-rays if they don't, you know, molest you with their hands, the TSA. But you know, this is interesting. This technology has really come to light in the past 10 years. They can scan your brain and they can check things like your amygdala. I think the part of the frontal cortex, but the amygdala is the big structure. If it's shrunken or deformed, that usually correlates with a number of conditions frequently seen in social justice warriors. If your amygdala is malfunctioning because it's physically wrong, you know, you behave strangely. So it's interesting that they want to, maybe they're going to scan and keep all the normies at home or put the chip in you. And he has some of the most ridiculous nonsense. They'll try to sell you this as a great convenience. Not only can we fight off all these pandemics because we'll know instantly if you've got it, but you'll be able to make that Twitter post easier because you can just think it. And they can think things into your brain too, if they have their way. And this is something they've been working on, and it's getting to the, you know, it's not quite to the, you know, the RoboCop level, but it's inching that way. Interestingly enough, if you know anybody that has a mental condition of any kind, you may have run into this brain scan or brain activity phenomenon before, and it's very hard. It's very hard to get a neurologist to conduct a scan or to use one of the new treatments or one of the old treatments that's proven to work. In many cases, lithium regrows the amygdala. It can literally fix the physical problem that causes the mental problem. They also have transcranial magnetic therapy that can do the same thing. But for some reason, it's very hard to get anybody in the medical profession to look at this. Hard to get your insurance company to pay for it. Why? Well, because it's part of the Great Reset. They want to, you know, keep everybody doped up on psychotropic medication that is guaranteed, it even says it on the label, guaranteed to cause more of the problems that you're taking it to try to prevent. So, these people, God, Lord, defend us all, including the children. I reported on this last week, I think. Of course, it's been a story all year since February. Orange alert, New York City. All the kids, de Blasio and Cuomo are sending all the kids in the public schools home again so that they can learn online those lessons. The children who are 99.999% immune to whatever this is and don't pass it along. They're not super spreaders. They know that. But we got to get them away and put them in front of a screen. And hopefully when you're not home to watch what they're watching, I have got some, at some point I've got some stories to tell you about curriculum in the public schools. But hey kids, at least you're not there in, PS 187 or whatever it is. Take a look at that. It's a Fox 5 New York link, although that story is all over. Here's a link to a link about what could be in store for normal heritage Americans. And I provide a link to Ann Barnhart's excellent, informative, and eye-opening blog. She links to, oh, I forgot it. I lost it. She links to a story about, it's a compilation of things that happened to people during great resets, color revolutions, whether they're in America or in Bolshevik Russia. It sounds like something that Solzhenitsyn was talking about in the Gulag Archipelago. This is the horrific stuff, and it almost sounds like she's got a little fear. I know she doesn't. Don't be afraid of this stuff. No matter how bad it is, don't fear it. Just prepare for it, and do know that as far out as this some of this stuff seems and reads, in a lot of cases the truth is usually stranger than any conspiracy theory. And it's funny, conspiracy theories, get picked on all the time. They have an odd way of being right in their own way. Not to necessarily say that they accurately predict exactly what's happening, but they have a really funny way of being more accurate than at least the mainstream narrative that's always put forth from the beginning, because it's written before the beginning. Let's see. Here's another culture war story. I almost didn't pick this one up because I really don't know who it's about. This is a process. It hits everywhere. It's not just the economy and politics and lockdowns. It's the culture. The left has the culture. They've had it since they seized Hollywood and your television. And forever, they've tried to inculcate certain ideas, especially into young minds. And here we've got a story from Russia Today, because you've got to go to Russia to get reporting on American pop culture. Candace Owens, who I suppose I like Candace. A little suspicious of anybody that seems like they're, riding the coattails, but she does a great job when she does a great job. Somebody else is building a studio. You might hear that. I did a sound check. I think we can talk over it. But Candace called out Harry Styles. I don't know who that is. I assume she is a pop star, singer, actor, whatever. Who cares? But Harry Styles, man's name, likes to wear dresses. And so that reminded me of the old Mo and Joe Bandy song, Where's the Dress? Which was them poking fun at Boy George. But this is not too funny when things like cross-dressing are promoted as normal and healthy, and you know where this is going. And once they start, they just never let up. So, we could really do with a reset, like, I don't know, declaring all these fake, impossible, void on their own terms debts to be void, and then, outlawing future usurious lending, maybe making it a capital offense. Because if you freed up all the assets and all the talent from all this, debt that is destroying the West, you would have a real working economy. And you could do things like reset to the gold standard, have real dollars. We could have a reset to real entertainment where people, don't act like a bunch of crazy freaks. We could reset migration policy so that we're not turning into a new version of the Tower of Babel. That's not exactly what they have in mind, but we'll keep commenting. Here's some news about allegations of fraud. You may have noticed on a lot of these videos, if I mention election, we get this from YouTube, and I want to thank YouTube for reminding us every single day. Quote, U.S. elections. The AP, that's the Associated Prostitutes, I think. The AP has called the presidential race for Joe Biden. I mean, I did not know that. See more on Google, YouTube, Alphabet, Big Tech, 100 Colonial Drive, McLean. Robust safeguards help ensure the integrity of elections and results. Learn more. Thank you so much. I hate to say it, but you're not convincing me. Maybe someday even you'll believe it. But you're not going to convince Vox Day either. Read Vox Day's blog, because he's been all over this about the insurmountable evidence of allegations of election fraud. They're just everywhere. I have a link to Vox Populi that links to links, and he had like 5 stories the end of last week and over the weekend. But these people, they're open about their intentions, but they always fall behind their own narrative. I think the last I saw, they were ridiculing these stories about Smartmatic and Dominion voting services in Venezuela. No connection. DMV is just shutting down all of their offices and scrubbing all their servers and getting attorneys for no reason whatsoever. There's no connection to Venezuela. They haven't gotten to the servers that have been seized and analyzed in Germany. That maybe they have mentioned Germany, but they're always denying. They always say, oh, this is just kooky stuff found on the internet. Well, I got something found on the internet at WikiLeaks, which is pretty well known for being able to dig up classified information, such as the cable out of the U.S. Embassy in Caracas. I forgot the date, but they no connection to Venezuela. This DVS DMS was started as a Venezuelan company, and here's a classified cable sounding the alarm about this software being used to rig elections in Venezuela. What are the odds? I mean, it's there. You can read the whole thing. I got a screen grab, and I've got a link to the material. This was written by Robert Downs, a political counselor. Venezuelan-owned Smartmatic Corporation is both a riddle and a fraud, but listen to the AP. Blah, blah, blah. Hugo Chavez. No connection whatsoever. Just there an official classified State Department documentation. All right, before we get shadow banned or outright banned, moving on. Still in the Great Reset mode, but here's some more generalized news. 17 minutes. Alan Greenspan is still alive. He's another guy getting up there in age, but he's never seen anything like this, meaning the economic downturn caused by the coronavirus and the Great Reset. Of course, he should know, because he spent 20 years as chairman of the Federal Reserve helping get us here. So that's a CNN business story you can check out. On the political front, I had to include this one. It's a Breitbart story about President Obama, the 44th president of the United States, and he was on the Jimmy Kimmel show, and he was just joking, just a big joke, funny, ha-ha, I got Predator drones, stay away from my daughter. He was telling Jimmy, who I never watch, that don't worry about Trump staying in office, because who's we, the deep state resetters? I don't know. We can always send in the SEALs to take out Trump, just like he took out bin Laden, 9 years after the CIA said that bin Laden died the first time. But that's what Sigmund Freud might call projection, I think. Maybe he's not so concerned about getting Trump with the SEALs, but having Trump send the SEALs. If things turn out that way, we don't know. Interesting times, and get some popcorn, enjoy the show, enjoy the ride, and know that good things are happening. All-American hero Kyle Rittenhouse is free on bond. It's a $2 million bond, but he was able to raise that despite coming from a very humble middle-class family, thanks to the efforts of good people like you. And he's got a great legal team, and this is the first step in the victory that he's going to get with a full acquittal on these ridiculous. It's not a prosecution. It's a persecution completely based on false declarations, and it's all politically motivated. I mean, he gunned down a crowd of 100 savages attacked him. He gunned down 3. All 3 just happened to be felons, convicted felons. The first one he shot, Mr. Rosenbaum. What was he, a 5-time convicted child rapist? At least 11 little boys. And, anyway, Kyle, I see great things ahead for Kyle. Check that out at the Milwaukee Journal. Moving this right along, there was also another shooting at a mall in Wisconsin. The second kind of shooting in, I think, 6 months. Had some BLM activity on the first one. They're kind of silent this time. No suspect arrested last time I checked. Got a link for you. And that brings us to the final word of the day, which is hatred. Which is a dirty word, right? Well, I don't know. If you're a Christian, You know that you were commanded to hate evil, shun the wicked. God hates evil. And we also know that in exchange for our efforts, we're practically guaranteed the world will hate us. But it's all okay. It's all okay. I've got a story about a man of God being hated on by Carlos Slim's blog, the New York Times, the old gray SJW. We have the, I want to make sure I pronounce this right, the Patriarch of the Serbian Orthodox Church, I believe it's Irenaeus, I'll leave that. The good man died at the age of 90 just recently. And of course, in 2020, his death is attributable to the coronavirus. And the New York Times spares no expense criticizing him for daring to be a Christian. They don't like him. They bring up things that he is, for instance, he's pro-life. You know, you can't believe in God. You can't go to church. You can't go to church without a mask. You certainly can't defend unborn children in Western civilization. So they really put the fear into this one. I say rest in peace, Patriarch. Oh, geez, really running over here. I plan to go to some of these comments from the past, from last week. Just thanks for all of them. They were great. We're going to have much more this wonderful Thanksgiving week to include a little special show on Thursday. I hope to see you then, and I'll certainly see you tomorrow, Tuesday. Perrin Lovett for Prepper Post News.